It's always a hot mic. What's up?
Why? Because you can't figure it out?
I'm sure if I put effort in, I could figure it out, but I don't care.
You're going to catch me one time.
Kind of like that time I was naked in the hot tub.
What did you
Tell me if you guys heard that.
Are you always naked in the hot tub?
At night. If it's dark outside, I'm naked.
Really?
Oh, 100%. There's no... Yeah.
Is that wise? What if a bad guy comes?
I'll fight him naked.
Slipping and sliding.
Yep.
Naked.
And then after I subdue him on the ground, I'm going to teabag him. What's up? What's up?
Did you just say that right now?
Yeah.
You seriously said that out loud? Oh, my gosh. Hopefully nobody heard that. So this is like the pre-show. People come on just for the hot mic talk.
Yeah, the hot mic talk might be the best part. I don't know.
Naked sheepdog.
Naked sheepdog, Kevin. This ain't a game, son.
The naked sheepdog.
Living the dream. I'm always nervous that I'm gonna. Okay, so here's one thing that like legit happens. Sometimes I'll get in and I'm like naked.
Okay, so you're talking about the hot tub. So sometimes you get in the hot tub.
Get in the hot tub. I'm naked and I like accidentally touch the thing that turns the lights on, like when I'm getting out, and all of a sudden it's like illuminating underneath.
So now you have like illuminated blue balls or green balls or whatever.
I'm always worried the house right across that's going to happen.
Balls.
So now what I do is I put the towel over that light as I'm getting out just because I'm always worried about that.
And this is at like in the
2 in the
middle of the
morning.
night? Okay.
Oh, no. I mean, this is like at 10 o'clock. When
As
I
soon
get
as
off
it's
this
dark.
live stream,
Well,
I'll
I mean,
go out there naked.
it can be dark right now at 6 o'clock. You don't go out.
So if any of you really want to surprise me, come to my house one day at night, walk outside, and you'll most likely find me in the hot tub naked.
Jacuzzi jetting. Tea bags are dripping. I guess people did. It took me a long time to know what a tea bag was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I think you told me years and years ago.
Sound like you had fun boyfriends.
Stop.
This is where we're going during the zombie apocalypse.
Or DeSoto Fort. Or St. Augustine Fort.
Usually takes 3 days for me to get in.
that was fun,
What
right?
is up? That was fun.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's what we just did. We did that Thanksgiving weekend. So super cool. We typically only take off the 1 week in out of the year, like where we like for sure always take it off. That's Thanksgiving, and we do something fun with the family.
Yep.
But then, and we started that tradition, and then COVID hit. So, you know, we went to Tennessee this time. We went to St. Augustine, and super cool, right? I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun.
A lot of walking.
It was even not that much walking,
It
but that
wasn't for
fort,
me,
that like Spanish fort was so cool. If you
Yeah.
guys have never seen it before, it is really awesome. So it was built by the Spaniards, I think is what you call them. The Spaniards, when they like owned all of Florida, and they used it as a defense on the coast.
Yeah.
And then when America bought Florida from Spain, they turned it into an American fort. And then eventually, I guess during like the American Indian War, it was used as a prison to house Indians. And now it's just a really cool national park.
Yeah, it's very cool. And super cool if you are a veteran, you get in for free. Yeah. Which was cool. You get in for yourself and for other people for free.
Okay, what was the coolest part about the fort? Because I got mine.
So I'm not real sure on like the coolest part, but I really thought it was interesting to see the size of the bunk beds.
Okay.
That they lived in.
And they had to have two men slept in a bunk bed.
2 men slept in a bunk bed, but then like in that other room, it would be, I would say, the equivalent of half of our twin, not width-wise. I'm talking lengthwise. So you had to lay curled up.
No, you also got to remember they're shorter than like.
They're not that short. This is like kid size.
Okay.
So I mean, like the whole length of the bed was probably only like 3.5 feet. So you had to probably sleep with your legs curled up, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, so my coolest part is they showed us like the bathroom that these warriors or whatever used to use. Mm-hmm. So it was just this little like room, right? And they basically dug a trench that when they went to the bathroom, when the tide rose,
high tide,
it would flood this little area that they were all pooping in
and push it out.
How smart is that?
It was super smart.
That is so brilliant.
Kind of cool to see like how like I was gonna say
ingenuitive.
That is the word. Okay, I was gonna use that word. They were back then. Like it's really cool to see how they built things and how they like hollowed out holes in the cement and then added the beams in there and stuff. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So what's up, Michelle? What's up, O-Town Racer?
So hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. You're here, so you have something to be thankful for. You're here. Oh my gosh. Do you know that I saw a reel today on Facebook and it freaked me out? You have no idea.
Hold on. Can we address the fact that somebody's name on here is Fleetwood Mac Sex Pants?
Okay, so no, listen to this. This is going to freak you guys out too, and I'm very sorry for freaking you out, but what it's going to do is wake you up and realize that you got to do stuff now. You can't wait. So, in this reel, it said, like, unpopular belief, people think, like, you reach half of your life at 50 years old.
Yeah.
But they said...
Most people die at 80, right?
You actually reach half of your life between 30 and 35.
Oh.
If you go based on the longevity of how long most people live, they said most people don't live that long. So by the time you're 30 or 35, so I was like, oh my gosh. Today I'm thinking like, I got to do stuff. We got to do some fun stuff. We got to enjoy life while we can because you just never know. Life's not promised. And just think 30 to 35, you've already lived half your life. So sorry to depress you, but just saying, go out there and do some stuff. Tell some people you love, right?
I'm going streaking. Through the neighborhood, down by the trailer park.
No, but like if you, like what's the one, we got to make a bucket list, but like what's the number one thing that you can just think of like off the top of your head? Like what's your number one bucket list thing that like if the doctor was going to tell you tomorrow, you only have 2 weeks left to live, what's your one bucket list?
That is an interesting question.
Not like to do with spending time with the kids and the family and stuff, because that's a given. But like what's the one, if you're healthy as a horse and you're like, I'm going to go do this one last thing.
Jump out of a plane.
Yeah, you want to go skydiving?
Yeah, me and Paige are going to do it.
Anywhere
even though I
specific?
100% know that I am going to hurt my back and be in a tremendous amount of pain for months and months, I'm still going to do it.
Okay, I have zero desire to jump out of a plane. Zero. So I think just mine would be to go to Europe.
But I'm going to do it
like a good 10, like I just want to eat some cheese in Tuscany and drink some wine in the vineyard Tuscany. That's what I want. So I don't care if you have to roll me on my deathbed. Roll me.
Does
Pull the stretcher behind a Vespa scooter.
Now, hold on a second. Does all of you need to go to Tuscany, or is it just like a finger or something like that?
No, I would prefer it to be all pieces and that I'm aware.
Tell me in the comments below, like, where is one country or one place that you would desperately want to go before you die?
Arkansas Razorbacks football or basketball game. See, it's so cool to see people's different things, right?
So Ireland.
I want to travel to Japan. You know what? We were talking about this the other day, and my biggest problem with going to Japan, and this is going to sound probably so stupid, and forgive me if I'm untraveled, but I've only been to, like, Hawaii.
That's a complete bullshit statement, Tiffany. You've been to Hawaii.
Mexico.
You've been to Mexico.
Just this last
You've been to Jamaica. You've been to the Cayman Islands.
Jamaica, I was... Okay, come on. Like, I was on a cruise just for, like, a quick day.
You were in the country.
I'm just saying. Excuse me if this sounds ignorant, but what do you eat in Japan if you don't eat, like, seafood and stuff? Like, I'm scared I'm going to go there, and I'm not going to be able to order some chicken parmesan. Like,
they might not have that, Tiff.
No. And I don't do, like, McDonald's and stuff. So, like, is there something there that, can I get a Cuban?
No, that's in Cuba and Florida because we have a million Cubans here.
So then what do I eat there? Because what I see online, it's a lot of, like fish. And, like, when I see the markets, I'm not trying to be rude, but it looks a little scary. Like, you see, like, flies
sketchy
flying
when you got
around.
a freaking eel just swimming around in a tank.
Yeah, or else they have, like, little octopus things, squid things, or they have, like, fish hanging, and there's a whole bunch of flies and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a health hazard.
Shut up.
That's what I think. We'll see.
Okay, so Japan has all the food you want. KFC is a big thing to get at Christmas.
Oh, Eddie says to sail the Caribbean with Tiffany's sister.
Let's get it popping, Eddie.
Listen, she's looking for an older man. She's looking for somebody who's
How old is Eddie?
I don't know, but she's looking for somebody who's not interested in having any children.
Ooh.
Her son is like 26, 27. She's not interested in having any more kids, even though she's only 43 or 45, I don't know, 40, middle-aged 40. And she's looking for somebody who's responsible with their money because she's
a gold digger.
She's responsible. No, you have to have your own money. And yeah, but she's good looking if you saw her in the video. Oh, she's hot. Yes, she looks kind of like me, but with blonde hair, blue eyes, tall.
Low self-esteem.
She's tall. Stop it. No, she doesn't. No, she's a, I was going to say a businesswoman. She's like, what is she?
She's a nurse.
Educated. Yeah, she works. She wants someone who can cook. Yeah, because she wants to come home and she doesn't want to have to cook. But she's fine if you're retired. She doesn't need anything fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No gag reflex. I don't know, but I've just heard stories.
I'm so sorry.
What did you just do the cross thing? What? You're not even Catholic.
I don't know what else to do. I don't have any freaking holy water to throw on you.
Okay, Eddie's 67. Maybe Eddie, but you're like, apparently, according to Tiffany's like stats, you're gonna be dead in a couple years. So.
Oh my gosh, you're such a jerk.
Okay.
No, she does want somebody older because she also, like she said on this trip, she's kind of hobbling a little. She's like, oh, I got back pain. She goes, I have to date someone that understands to have a little back pain because sometimes she's good and she can go do stuff, but then other times she's got back pain and she's got to stay in bed. So she needs someone that understands.
Yeah, makes sense. So I forgot, in Japan they have Japanese Wagyu steak, which is like
steak.
Super high-end steak.
I'll do steak, but if it's super high-end, is that going to cost me a lot of money to stay in Japan if all I eat is Wagyu steak?
I don't know. Thailand, dude. I want to go to Thailand.
You know what? I do want to do Thailand.
How many wines have you had, Tiff? Just one? Wow.
I was messed up looking at the comments.
Yeah, the comments
I do want to do Thailand because I'm cheap. So anytime you tell me my money's worth way more in another country, I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, we can go over there and be like...
We can live like royalty, right?
Yeah, royalty. I'd be like, hey, sell me that baby. Give me that house. All kinds of stuff. I heard you can shoot a water buffalo
with a bazooka.
A rocket-propelled grenade. How cool is that?
Yeah. Do they really do that?
I don't know, but I'm going to live stream it. Okay, Bill Emmerich, Tampa Carey is now a dating game.
Yes,
do you guys?
Right. We only have one prospect though, and it's my sister.
We'll see. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. Let's see if anybody knows what the purpose of YouTube was when it was first created. Does anybody know what the purpose of YouTube was without Googling it real quick?
I think you just give it away.
You just got to tell me real quick in the comments what was YouTube created to be.
You just kind of.
It was a dating app.
Shotguns in Switzerland. Oh my gosh,
No.
Switzerland looks so pretty.
YouTube was created to be a dating website, but it failed.
Were you supposed to
and
upload
then they
a video of yourself?
upload videos, yeah. And it didn't work. And then people realized, people like watching these movies. We're going to make it into like a video sharing kind of website. So that's pretty interesting. That's something, and like Instagram. Instagram is a very similar story. It just goes to show, though,
how you can make something for a specific purpose and totally fail at it, but then it works out in a different way.
Yeah, Instagram had 2 different versions, and then they finally were like, no, what people want is to share pictures, and then that's when they clicked on Instagram. Yeah, so very interesting. All right.
Okay, Wagyu is very expensive. Okay, can't go to Japan unless you make the big bucks there, sweetheart.
I am making the big bucks, Tiff. My OnlyFans is rolling out soon. I
can't perceive that if you did open an OnlyFans that it would do well.
It would do well. A very narrow niche of Asian men, older Asian men, would subscribe religiously.
Okay. Next. I think we should start the show.
Start the show, okay.
Start the show!
Bali, yeah. I heard Bali is nice too.
Bali, yes.
So this is
Japan is expensive. Yeah, we're out.
Oh, what the hell is that? This is a dude who was in a mall in California. Guy had a gun inside of his pocket, no holster, and the gun just randomly went off. But what this guy did after the gun went off was pretty damn hilarious. Push a button, nothing happens.
Accidentally discharges his gun inside of a store in Valencia. Video posted to the Citizen app shows people hugging and shoppers scrambling at the Journey store. This happened around 6:40 at the Valencia town center. Deputies say the gun that man had concealed in his pocket went off. He wasn't hit, but he did run off from the store. The entire mall had to be evacuated as a precaution. By the way, it is illegal to carry a concealed weapon in California without a permit.
I think it's super funny because I get in this debate with people all the time. They're like, am I required to have my gun in a holster to carry it? And I'm like, no. I mean, like, if you don't want to have your gun in a holster, then go for it.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stupid, but if that's what you want to do, then go for it. So it sounds like with this guy, he had the gun in his pocket. He was like fiddling around, wasn't in a holster. Gun went off, didn't shoot himself, so the bullet just went through his pants.
Usually does.
And then the guy just bolted out of the mall.
Because he's like, oh, crap. I'm out of here.
So they locked the whole mall down. They like assumed it was an active shooter or whatever. And I'm sure this guy feels.
Yeah, I think the lesson over and over again is no matter what, you need to have a holster. And not just any holster, you need to have a good holster. And I kind of say it's the same thing with training. I tell people, like, if you're going to invest, okay, for one, you're going to invest in a gun, which is, $350 to $600, let's say, for a decent gun. You're going to invest in a gun. But not just to have a gun. You want to have a gun so that you can protect yourself. So it seems silly to buy the gun, to invest that amount of money, and then not want to invest in any sort of training at all, or any sort of good holster, or any sort of good locking, safe thing, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems silliness that you'd only do one part. Because there's several parts, right? So with a gun, if you have a gun and you have zero training, there's a good chance that you're going to have an accident.
Or you're going to end up like...
Or if you have a gun and you're too cheap to buy a holster, but you're going to carry it, there's a good chance that you're going to have an accident.
Yeah.
So these are just things that go along with it. Like, don't just think it's just the purchase of a firearm. You have to think it's the purchase of the firearm. It's to have the training, however that is to you. And then to have a good holster, which may mean you're going to have to buy, 3, 4, 5 holsters to find the one that really, really works for you. And then number 4, to have whatever, locking mechanism, locking safe, some way to secure it.
People think that I'm exaggerating here, but how many holsters do I have in my Rubbermaid bin?
I don't know. There's exactly Rubbermaid bin. That should spell it out to you, and it's full.
It is a massive Rubbermaid bin. I bet you there's thousands of dollars of holsters in there.
Yeah.
And
you wouldn't wear any of them.
Well, I tried lots of them.
Like you would, but only it takes some time to find a good one that works for your lifestyle.
It took me time to figure out what makes a good holster and what makes a bad holster. Yeah, so Dustin says, I have too many.
Yeah.
Like, you buy one because lots of people are saying, ooh, this is amazing. You buy it, and then you're like, oh, this is terrible. Why do people think this is good?
Yeah.
So you just got to keep trying stuff until it finally works, which isn't like the meaning of everything. You just keep trying stuff, and then eventually stuff works.
Nothing ever really just, first shot. Maybe you might get lucky first shot, but...
Cliff says, how does the gun go off without pulling the trigger?
Oh.
He probably pulled the trigger.
Or his key. We've seen this several times with pocket carry. You put your keys in your pocket, the same pocket you have your gun. You go to grab your keys. The key gets stuck inside of the trigger guard. Oh, that looked bad.
Do it again. I didn't see.
I just did, like, inside the trigger guard.
That makes sense.
The key gets stuck inside the trigger guard, and when, you kind of yank your keys, like, oh, what? Because you're not thinking, right? It's just reactionary. You yank the keys, and then boom, firearm goes off. We've seen that happen
time and time again.
Time and time again, yeah. So I always say two things. If you're going to pocket carry, you have to have a holster, and then number one, and then number two, you have to put your keys.
Counting is hard when you're drinking, huh?
You have to put your keys and stuff in your other pocket. You shouldn't be going in that pocket for anything except for to get your gun.
Yeah.
Period. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
The pocket holster that I absolutely love is the Nemesis. What is it called? The DeSantis Nemesis pocket holster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's got some non-slip on it, and it holds the firearm tight, and when it makes it look like just a wallet. And when you pull it out, it has kind of a little hook that keeps it inside your pocket, so you can pull your firearm out quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep the holster in your pocket. So.
Okay, so North American Arms revolvers without even a trigger guard. Yeah.
Yeah, those little guns,
super cool. We had this guy. Do you guys want to hear a crazy, CIA story from the Iraq War? Tell me in the comments.
You're going to tell us anyway, Ryan. Don't you lie.
I'm just building up the hype. Kind of like a girl likes to tease somebody before she... So, tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments if you want to hear a cool CIA story. Just type hell yes in the comments if you're interested. Okay, Lester, yes. Only one person.
Only one
go
person
with it.
wants it.
I have a sticky.
Jeff. Oh, hey, Jeff. Okay, go. Go for it, Ryan.
No, Steve. Okay, Steve Easter's hell yes. People aren't really interested in my cool story. All right, here's some. Finally.
No, they're probably on their TV and they're having to use their remote.
One button.
Y-E-S.
Okay. So we met this guy. He came into our gun store, and he was forced to retire from the CIA. But during the Iraq War, like when the Iraq War was heavy, right? 2007 time frame, like things were popping, right? So he was in Iraq. He was on a helicopter, and they were going to drop him off in some village or whatever, and he was just going to go out with just him and just his interpreter to go into this village and do whatever CIA spy stuff they do. So as they were hovering about to drop him off, a guy came out with an RPG, and the pilot, somebody yelled RPG. Oh. So the pilot jerked the helicopter real quick, and this dude fell out of the helicopter. So he landed. Do you remember this story?
Yes,
he landed right on his back, broke his back. Okay. And apparently he totally blacked out. But while he blacked out, now they're calling in a team to come and rescue him and stuff, and they're under fire. So it's a major deal. It apparently took the team a very long time to get to him because while this guy was unconscious, he was taking claymore mines and setting up a perimeter all around him because he didn't realize what he was doing, but his subconscious was out here setting up these claymore mines or whatever. So they finally get a medevac. They're able to grab this dude. They get him back to, actually, I think this happened in Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. One of those two countries. So they get him back to the base. He's inside the medical tent, and all of a sudden, the base starts getting overrun. Okay, do you remember this now?
Yeah, no, I know this story. I remember.
So Al-Qaeda starts opening fire on the base. It was the first time, what he said, the first time since World War II or something like that, that a U.S. military installation had been overrun.
Wow.
And he said, terrorists started climbing over the walls. They were using the bodies of dead Al-Qaeda guys, and they were chucking it on top of the barbed wire, the Constantine wire, so that they could climb over. So there was another guy we met who was there that day, And they're shooting, and his job was to go grab the ammo cans and then run the ammo cans up to the like gunners up on the towers, right? And he said, I'm freaking running, Ryan. I got two 50 cal ammo cans. I'm just running, and bullets are like in front of me, bullets are behind me. Like, we're gonna die anyway. You just keep running, right? So this dude, he's inside the freaking tent. He hears all the gunshots and stuff going off. He tells the doctor, he said, give me my gun. So they gave him his gun. He took two of his guys that were there, and he said, drag me out to the vehicle. So they were like, dude, we can't drag you out there. And he said, if you guys are going to be out there, then I'm going to be out there. Drag me out to the vehicle and prop me up.
His back is like broken, right?
He can't move, right? So they brought him out there. They propped him up in front of a truck, and he said he just sat there shooting dudes as they were coming over the wall. He survived it. He walked super weird because obviously he was in a lot of injuries. Right. But yeah, it was super crazy, man. We met 3 or 4 dudes that were in that base getting overrun incident. Yeah. And they all, like, the stories that they have are just insane.
Crazy to think.
Yeah.
And the scariest thing I have to do is, like, dodge the oil as it's bubbling when I'm frying the empanadas. And I'm like, oh, this is so dangerous.
Not the same thing.
No, not the same at all.
Not the same thing.
I'm gonna handle those empanadas differently now, hearing that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, super crazy. Super crazy to also think, that this is what I thought when we owned the gun store, because it was right outside the military base, and we did have a lot of different people, different stories, different levels. And I always thought, like, wow, we have no idea
what is happening in the world and what these dudes are out there doing every single day that we never hear about. Right. Because a lot of these stories, these guys would tell me, like, in confidentiality, they would say, like, oh, I'm going over to this country because I got to save this ambassador or whatever. And it's just like, bro, you guys are pretty freaking nonchalant. Actually, there's one dude comes in one day. I think I shared this story, but comes in the morning. And he's like, stinks,
all
man.
Dirty
and he's
stinky,
And he usually comes in the afternoon, winds down before he goes to see his family. And I was like, hey, bro, like, what's up, man? Why are you here so early?
Because he was actually there before the store opened. He just pulled up,
So I was like, hey, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, man, my team and I have been chasing this guy around Florida all night. And I was like, oh, like, what does that mean? And he just said, I can't talk about it, but we've been chasing this guy all around the state, and we finally got him. Yeah. And this is like, what was that show? Jack Bauer from the show 24? Like, that's this dude, okay? So it was wild.
And you know what's super funny, too? Like, I have to just say this. They're so unassuming. Like, they are standing next to you in Publix, and you are like, oh, that guy's short.
Don't even know. He's short.
No, but a lot of the guys that we've met that were, like, really, crazy, they're like, you would just never guess. Like, this is not a big burly guy. This is not somebody who looks scary or intimidating. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. So, anyway. I need to make that into a movie.
Oh, my gosh. You want to know, Dustin? Actually, have you guys seen the movie? Damn, what is it called? Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to find it super quick. I met one of the guys in this movie before this was declassified. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
Did I see this movie?
You've seen it, yeah.
Did you share that with me?
Shit, what is this called?
Sometimes
Don't talk to me. Horse military movie.
Don't talk to me. Horse military movie.
Oh my God, I can't even.
Sounds interesting.
No. Shh. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't even look at me.
Well, why don't you put a...
Okay, 12 Strong. Have you seen the movie 12 Strong?
I don't think so.
Have you guys seen the movie 12 Strong in the comments? Tell me yes. Have you watched it? Have you not watched it?
12 Strong. Where is that? Amazon Prime?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So when I worked for Culligan Water, Steve, I went to this dude's house. So Steve works for Culligan too. I went to this guy's house in Fishhawk, and like we were there. We had like I was doing a pitch for him or whatever, and like it's in the first like 20 minutes. We're trying to warm up and get to know each other, whatever. So he brings me into his office, and I was like, dude, this is a really cool office. Yeah. And it was a picture of him on a horse, and in Afghanistan. And I was like, he goes, that was the best day of my life. And I was like, oh, like, you're a military dude. You're obviously like in the army, but you're on a horse. Why are you on a horse? Right, and he said, I can't talk about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I knew he was special forces. Yeah. And then he said to me, if they would let me go back to that day right now, I would go back. Okay. So I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? But kind of just blew over my shoulder because I didn't really understand and he couldn't tell me anything because it was all still classified or whatever.
Yeah.
So then when that movie 12 Strong came out, I was like, oh shit, this is that guy. Like this is, I don't know which guy in the movie or whatever.
I don't
but
know if we've seen this.
I've seen it. I've watched it with the boys lots of times.
You need to watch it with me.
Yeah, so amazing. So it was right after 9/11.
Okay.
Like they said, you mother effers are going to do this shit. We're going to go burn your country down.
Yeah.
So they sent like a dozen dudes in Afghanistan and just said, go find these people. We want to strike now and hurt them.
Wow.
So they went in there on horses and they actually like matched up with Afghanistan like revolutionaries,
Yeah, like the
whatever.
good guys, right?
Not really good guys, but you're gonna be our friend because we have a common enemy now.
Right.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So and they charge in there on horses and freaking attack the crap out of Al Qaeda. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Super
Oh,
cool.
I think I did see it.
Yeah.
Are they up in the mountain?
Out in the mountains.
And watching down and okay, I did see it several times.
Yeah, it was super
I didn't
cool.
know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
It is a good movie. Okay.
Okay. 12 Horsemen Whiskey Company.
Oh, really?
Does he really?
Oh, really, Eric?
Oh, that makes sense, Eric.
That's interesting.
12 Horsemen Whiskey Company.
Okay, so we'll have to go there. Eric, maybe we'll meet up for I don't drink whiskey, but hopefully they have wine at a whiskey shop.
I don't drink whiskey successfully.
Do they have wine at a whiskey shop? I'm
Probably
sure
not.
they do, right?
Probably not.
Really? They definitely don't have my kind
Yeah,
of wine.
I think it's cool when dudes like that are able to do some really badass stuff like that. What?
He said, nor do I. Yeah, Ryan. So we went to my brother's wedding in Banff,
Canada.
in Banff, Canada. And Ryan, he walks up. We go to the bar, right? And I'm like, whatever, a glass of wine. And Ryan walks up and he goes,
Bourbon. Neat.
Oh.
Now, I have no idea
He's
what
like,
any of that means.
bourbon, neat. And I look at him and I'm like, you've never, like, what?
I've watched people order it on movies, and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. We're in a fancy hotel,
And then
right?
he gets it.
Bourbon.
And he goes sit
Neat.
down and he swishes it, and he's feeling all suave. And he swishes it and then he's like, and I'm like, are you right?
No. So, none of that happened.
It kind of did happen.
No.
And then he just, every time I looked at him, he just held it.
I just look cool holding this.
He wouldn't drink anymore.
No. So here's the true story. I drank like 3 glasses of it and spent the entire night vomiting all over the bathroom.
Oh, you did. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if it was you or my brother. So yeah, you're.
Oh, no, it was me. Yeah, it was
that the
horrible.
last time?
Oh, last time. I'm never again. Not interested. And what's funny is people keep sending me this Sheepdog whiskey. And like one dude, he shows up to the concealed carry class and he's got like a whole bag of stuff. And he's like, hey, I bought this for you. And I was like, okay, cool.
They see this little bottles of the Sheepdog whiskey.
So I open up the bag and there's like 20 bottles of Sheepdog whiskey. And I'm like,
But
oh, okay,
it's so
cool.
nice.
We have it all.
We keep it for company.
Yeah.
So yeah, my brother drinks a whiskey. So
Tiff said last night, she's like, Ryan,
look
would
nice.
Would you watch a romantic Christmas comedy with me tonight? I said, fine, I'll watch it, but I need 5 bottles of whiskey first.
This is for all the ladies out there. Like, I think that this is the first time in my whole life, like 18 years with you, that I was like, hey, do you want to watch a romantic Christmas movie with me? And he was like, yeah, sure, put one on. And I was like,
didn't know what to do. Kind of like a deer when a car comes. It's like, oh shit.
give me the remote.
Get it on fast before he changes his mind.
And then we put it on. Halfway through, it got real slow. What the hell was it called? I don't know. It was with Cameron Diaz, so at least she was good looking. But halfway through, I'm like, this is kind of slow. So I said, sweetie, do you want to put Fear of the Walking Dead on? He's like, yeah, can I? I said, go ahead. And I threw him the remote. And then wouldn't you know, he sat there with the remote. And you kept on watching it.
I'm trying to be a better husband. I'm trying to be a better
Was it really
man.
that, or did you want to know what happened?
No, because the movie wasn't interesting.
No.
No, it was super dumb.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It had Jack Black in it, though. You'd
Yeah.
think that would be good. But
No.
yeah, so this is for all you ladies who think that it'll never happen to you. it may happen to you one day after 18 years, maybe. All right, go.
All right, so KTM 500, 6 days. No idea what that means. Trying to send us a secret message. So traveling romaine to Florida. Not sure what that means. Keep firearms in the back of the truck.
Bringing romaine lettuce across the border to Florida.
So that means cocaine or something. I don't know.
No.
So you're allowed to have a gun inside of your car as long as it's inside of the glove box, center console, zippered gun bag, snapped in a holster, something like that, with or without a permit. Like I told that to a student today, and she was totally shocked. She's like, what? She said, my friends, because she's a permanent resident alien, she said, my friends have all been saying, like, I'm not even allowed to touch a gun. I can't own a gun.
Oh.
And I said, ma'am, you can buy a gun. You can have a gun in your car. You can have a gun at home. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, Maine. Traveling from Maine to Florida.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you're traveling through like the anti-American states, New York, New Jersey, places like that, their rules are super strict.
Yeah.
Make sure you do a lot of research because it is not common sense. And frankly, they're looking for a reason to throw you in jail.
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful.
Yeah, be careful.
All right, so I know this guy has this question for a couple weeks, and we keep forgetting to do it. So
yeah, why you saw the messages?
yeah. I have a friend of mine that works in a shop that makes gun parts. My buddy buys the lower part with the magwell over the internet and has 5 or 6 9mm pistols he built. No serial number. I took 2 of them to the range. They shot okay and took them back to my maker on the way home. My question, I had pistols in my car at the range with no serial numbers. Did I do anything wrong?
Okay.
Suppose I got pulled over for some traffic offense. Cops discovered it. Okay, so I'm a little bit unclear, but...
Yeah, because is his buddy a manufacturer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If your buddy... Okay, serial numbers on firearms were not actually required until 1968. So you will find a lot of guns out there that do not have serial numbers. Now, some manufacturers always had serial numbers,
Just because
like
they
Colt.
wanted to.
Most Smith & Wessons had them, but you'll find other gun manufacturers that just never had serial numbers at all. But then after the Gun Control Act in 1968, right? That's when it was required to have serial numbers. Now you're allowed to manufacture your own gun for your own personal use without a serial number, but that might have changed with this whole ghost gun thing that just happened. I know with the new ghost gun law, if you have a firearm with no serial number and you bring it in, let's say, to get new sights put on it, and that gun shop, if they see there's no serial number, they're supposed to engrave a serial number, which is fascinating because they're not a licensed manufacturer, so they're not able to actually do that legally. Yeah, it could be an 80%er. It could also just be a test thing. Like when we had our gun store, I was legally allowed to give a firearm to an employee to go test.
Yep.
And I would usually type up a letter that says like, hey, I'm the owner of this gun store. This is my FFL number. This person, Tiffany Thomas, has the right to transport this firearm for official, like, gun store duties.
And you're allowed to do that.
And I gave like people machine guns to take somewhere or short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns. And even though they weren't on the actual tax stamp, they were able to do that because they had that letter and that was allowed by law. Here's the second part of the story. Most police officers don't know that there are certain times that you're allowed to have a firearm without a serial number. They just don't know that.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that if a cop stops you with a gun that doesn't have a serial number, they might harass you.
Yeah.
They might take you to jail because the cop can take you to jail for any reason at any time, right?
Yes.
So you just have to know that it adds like an extra layer of difficulty. So you just got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it depends, like, I'm not sure if he is a licensed manufacturer or if he's just making, like...
his own personal guns.
His own personal guns, I think, too, might make a difference, right?
Yeah. All right, so Less is More has an interesting question that I actually just dealt with today with 2 different people.
Okay.
So I want to help my wife feel more comfortable with her gun. Do you think a laser is a good addition to help build good shooting habits? I don't.
You should
A
take
laser...
that question off so that...
Okay. A laser is not going to help somebody build good shooting habits.
I agree.
It's kind of like, okay, let's see if we can figure out something that'll reference here. Like Les, what do you do for a living? What is your job? What do you do for a living?
It's Less is More. His
Less is
name
more.
isn't Les.
Well, I'm going to call you Les, bro.
You are now
What do you do for a
Les.
living, Les?
It might take a while to type, so just...
Well, we got all the time in the world.
we'll give you...
Okay, all right. So Les is in finance. So Les is a perfect example. So if we give somebody an investment account, like who's our investment account for the kids through Fidelity, right? Let's say we give somebody an account to Fidelity. Does the mere fact that they have a Fidelity account mean that they are a astute investor? Does it mean that they understand the fundamentals of investing, of diversifying and all that stuff? It doesn't, because just having the thing doesn't actually teach them the strategy and the tactics or the mindset, right? So our process is called crawl, walk, run. We had a student today. She bought the Beginner's Guide to Firearms course in June. And she said to me, Ryan, I have watched this course 4 or 5 times.
No, good for
now
her.
that course is like 3 hours long, okay? So she said, I watched the entire thing 3 hours, 4 or 5 times. Because she said, I didn't even want to touch a gun until I understood the strategy.
Good for her.
That's the crawling part. Walking is now beginning to practice with an unloaded firearm or a fake training gun so that we can eliminate the risk while you reap all of the benefits. Let's see if it's in the camera. Just like that, right?
Yeah.
And then after you've mastered the shooting fundamentals with a fake gun or a unloaded gun,
Unloaded, yeah.
then you actually come to the gun range and start to demonstrate the shooting fundamentals with a loaded firearm. And that's where our shooting classes come into play. So it was really fascinating because while she was there, she's like, she tells me in the beginning, I'm super nervous. I'm very scared. She said, I didn't even want to sign up for this class. She said, last night I just had a moment where I said,
I'm just gonna do it.
I'm just going to do it right now.
Good
just
for
click the
her.
button and then I'm committed.
Awesome.
And what's interesting is she shot like a freaking rock star.
Yeah.
And I'll even show you her target real quick. You guys might not be able to see it on the camera, but her progression from her first target to her last target was shocking.
Right.
So look at that.
Yeah.
So that's first target. That's the last target. Can you guys see that?
Probably
Sorta.
not.
No. Maybe. Okay, so anyway.
No, I don't think you can.
Her
So-
progression was insane. And now she's like, I'm still not ready to buy a gun yet, but that's cool. She still has lots more lessons with me. And the more you keep coming in a short amount of time, the more comfortable you're going to get.
So to answer his question about having a laser, is a laser for somebody who's a brand new shooter, is that something that's good? I say, for me personally, I think you need to learn how to use your sights. Proper sight alignment, how to shoot with both eyes open, how to properly shoot with your sights and hit the target where you're planning to hit.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think if you want to add a laser later on, I think that that's okay. But I do think that you should learn how to shoot first before you add a laser to the thing. Because what I noticed, a lot of people, they focus on the laser and they're so distracted at just focusing on the laser that they're not paying attention to anything else.
Yeah, so Jim, our friend, and he goes to the range with me quite a bit.
Oh, gosh,
So
lots, yeah.
Jim heard 2 weeks ago me talk about a laser on the show, so he went and bought one, okay? So then last Monday, I think, so a week ago, when Jim and I met at the range, we installed his laser, which was a disaster, by the way. Because I haven't done it in so long. Like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, dude,
I
I
know.
totally forgot how to do this. So we installed the laser, we got it all dialed in and stuff. And then I think he thought it was going to make it easier to shoot. But now as he's looking at the target, that dot is like
Yeah.
all over the place.
Any little wiggle, it makes the dot be like this.
And he finally just turned the laser off
Well,
because he was like,
he's such a good shooter now.
every single time he turned the laser on and tried to use the laser, it made him a worse shooter.
Yes.
With the laser, it was worse. Without it, he was amazing.
Yeah. Well, he's been shooting with you at least 30 times.
So the purpose of a laser, though, because I had a different student today who I told, you need to buy a laser. And I actually helped her buy a gun and she bought a laser.
Okay, so tell me why.
What's the reason? She has progressive lenses. And her eyes are so blurry because she has to look in like
She
a
has
perfect
to
little
keep-
spot
yeah.
that she can't see the front sight properly. So now with the laser, I'm sure she'll come back and shoot again with me in a week or two or whatever. We'll install that laser. Hopefully I have more practice this time and I can get it done faster. But and I think it's going to really help her. But somebody like Jim, who doesn't have eye issues, it's more of a hindrance than a good thing, right?
Yeah. So is it the same with a red dot and a laser?
Red dots are very easy to use. Once you get over the holdover kind of thing.
So I would say if this is like kind of something that you want to do, if when he drinks the rest of that glass, she'll be talking in cursive. If that's something that she wants to do, I would maybe look into getting a red dot.
Yeah, red dots are amazing. It's a little bit of a learning curve because you have to hold the gun. Like normally if I was holding the gun here, you got to actually hold it a little bit lower, which is just odd to get used to.
But I definitely think everybody needs to learn just regular, no red dot, no laser, learn how to shoot. Somebody said it means you're skipping here. A laser cuts in on the fundamentals. I agree, Dustin. I think that you have to learn how to just use your sights and understand proper sight alignment because so many people do not understand proper sight alignment and how to shoot with both eyes open. So I think that's better.
People just don't understand the basics. This is what's so scary. I was with the class, maybe it was last Monday again too. And these two dudes walked in, and as I'm like talking to the group, the guy pulls his gun out of his case and then like starts to walk over. And thankfully I was able to stop him. And I was like, hey man, put your gun back in the case. So he put it back. And I said, close your case. And I said, then bring your case up to the firing line.
Right.
And then they were both respectful and nice. And, you know, I was just trying to explain to them. But they were just doing so much dangerous, weird stuff that it's just, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which this is not.
But it is kind of a case, though, of you don't know what you don't know. Because you think that you're being safe.
Sure.
You know, like one of our students, I love that they said, like, oh my gosh, I go shooting all the time. I go shooting with my family all the time. And I didn't even know until I took your class. I didn't realize how unsafe we were being all the time. How many rules we were breaking all the time. And how lucky we are that somebody didn't get shot. Yeah. And I kind of like see that and hear that all the time. That you just don't know what you don't know.
Okay, kind of like I have never seen this happen before.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Okay.
I don't know if you can catch
both times this has happened. We've had two different versions of this problem. Has happened with Jim.
And it's happened with Winchester White Box.
Oh damn it! I was gonna make them guess. You just ruined that, Tiff.
Well, because it's kind of the known.
First time this happened, so Jim pulled the trigger, got a click, so we thought it was a misfire or hang fire, so we waited the 30 seconds like normal, and then we extracted the round, and I was like, bro, what the hell's wrong with this bullet? Can you guys see there's no primer? So there was no primer in this round. So I started digging through all the ammo, and out of 200 rounds of ammo, or 150 rounds, I found 3 of them that did not have a primer. About a month ago, or 2 months ago, Jim had primers that were installed backwards, which I didn't know was possible. But again, they somehow were able to shove primers in backwards, and that made it past the Winchester quality control, and they shipped that out to customers. So make sure you check your ammo.
Winchester's quality control is the same as Taurus's, in my opinion.
Non-existent?
Yeah.
Okay, so Di says, question about eyesight. I've had cataract surgery and now have monovision. What problems, if any, am I going to have shooting? What is monovision? What does that mean?
I don't know what monovision is.
Does that mean only vision out of one eye? Mono means one, right?
I don't know.
Mono is like a rich person way to say one?
I'm not sure. So that's why I won't buy Winchester ammo. Good. Yeah. You get some good deals on it, right?
So, I don't know, Di, but you've got range classes with me, so make sure schedule one. Isn't that Diane? Isn't that Frank and Diane?
I don't know. Is she
so.
Spell her name like that? How do you know this? Just by her picture because it's a blonde lady?
I'm making a big assumption here.
Here you are making a big.
Yeah, so.
Okay. One eye sees distance and the other one sees close. Okay.
Yeah. So that is definitely going to be very difficult because you're trying to focus with both eyes on a single object.
Oh, she said yes, it is Frank and Diane. How did you tell that?
Just from her picture.
You can barely see her.
Oh, I can always spot good-looking women.
Oh!
Okay. Just like Frank.
I'm going to have to keep an eye.
Frank and I both have a knack for that. Correct.
Oh, gosh.
So, Diana, laser might really help you. It might, but again, we won't know until we're actually at the range. Like, I have some people with progressive lenses that can actually shoot really well because they're able to adapt to it and they're just able to do it.
Yeah.
But then I have other ones that they just struggle and it's just a disaster, right? So we'll figure that out when we go shooting and we'll...
Yeah, you need to schedule your class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Little ditty.
And she said great hair because I told her we were talking... Yeah, she had great hair. I said, I have good hair like a Belgian workhorse.
Yeah, you have great teeth like a Belgian workhorse.
I do have great teeth.
All right, so this is a police officer. Doesn't that guy look like a freaking weirdo?
I don't mean to judge people.
No, you can judge people. It's okay. Okay, wait till you hear the story about this guy.
Okay.
This guy, I think, lived in Virginia. He was a police officer in Virginia.
Okay.
Decided to drive all the way to California, Riverside, California, murder 3 people.
And he's
A mother, a father, and then somebody else, and then kidnapped the teenage daughter.
because he
I almost
chatted
guarantee
her online or something. Oh,
must have met her online. Must have started like trying to, get her up or whatever. How crazy is that?
He looks like a.
Now it's said that he just left the agency. It doesn't say that he got fired, but it says that he left an agency and had just got hired by like the state police. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This is why. So Lincoln was asking me the other day.
Looks like he sells ice cream to Eskimos.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Yes, creepy looking is for sure. He does, like, he gives you that vibe, right? As soon as you look at him, you're like, yee.
Yeah, like I have doll heads in my house. Like that's the vibe that I get from this guy.
Yeah,
I collect doll hair. That's what this guy's social media profile says.
I agree. Yeah. Eesh. Okay, so he killed the whole family and then took the daughter?
Killed the father and the mother and one other person. It doesn't say because it's probably a minor and you can't really say with minors.
Probably a little brother, a little sister.
Probably a brother, I think. This is why it's so critical. Lincoln, I got into a huge fight with Lincoln yesterday.
Kids don't like us.
Huge fight. Because he's like, Dad, please. I just want to play this video game and I want to be able to talk to the other people that are playing. And I said, no. The answer's been no for years. The answer's no, and it's always no. But then he's like putting up his fight and his argument, and then Tiff gets sucked in, and she's like...
I don't get sucked in. I'm like, okay, let's hear you out. Like, explain to me what you want to do, and like, how can people hear you, and can you turn off bad people that like maybe say something bad or cuss, or like, can you turn them off? And they're like, no, we can't, but we can just turn the volume down. I'm like, well...
Then there's no point in chatting with them, right? Like, what are we talking about? So anyway, it just went on for like 20 minutes, right? And finally, I just had to say, the answer's no. Don't ask me again. You can chat with other people on a video game when you move out of my house. That's the answer. Okay?
Because kids are so easily manipulated and so easily sucked in, right? And it just takes one of those predators to be like, hey, buddy, you're really good playing, and just slowly work their way in.
Yeah, what is that called?
Grooming,
right? Yeah.
And there's all types of grooming, and slowly groom their way in and find out, where you live. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, I've been grooming the people at the gun store for years to get discounts.
I don't think that's the same thing, but yeah, it's totally scary though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any more questions, my
No, I have a lot.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because it's
all
already
right, so
7:46.
Lester says, have a question for you, but don't know if it's in your book. I'm just going to summarize this. If some people are saying that if you change a trigger on a self-defense gun, the prosecutor will use it against you. Is that true? Yes, you have to remember that the prosecutor, if you're involved in a self-defense shooting, the prosecutor's job is to figure out how to discredit you and prove that you did something you were not supposed to do. So now listen, modifying the trigger on like a Glock, you can literally buy a drop-in trigger. You just take out the old trigger, put the new one in, put the pins in, and boom, you're done. 100% safe, nothing wrong happens. But it doesn't cause a malfunction, an accidental shooting, like none of that'll happen. But the jury doesn't know that because the jury is not made up of people like me or Dustin or Eric or, Kenneth Bill.
They're made out of people that know nothing.
It's people that know nothing
then
about guns.
all of a sudden say, he put a killer trigger in.
No, like
it's made to kill people.
They're going to open up the owner's manual of Glock, and the owner's manual says, do not change a trigger or any of the components.
Or your
because it violates the safety and the warranty. Glock does that to protect themselves, but it's not a fact, right? So they're going to take that and they're going to say, well, he violated the warranty. He violated the safety procedures.
It says right here, don't do it. It's not safe.
And then what they're going to do is, even though Lester, a bad guy, broke into your house and you meant to shoot him on purpose, they're going to say, Lester accidentally shot the guy. This is manslaughter. Lester didn't want to shoot him. The gun went off because it malfunctioned.
Because he changed his trigger.
And a manslaughter conviction is much easier to get than a second or first degree murder conviction.
Yeah, but you still get 10 or 15 years.
20 to 30 in Florida.
20 for a freaking manslaughter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the minimum mandatory is 20 years on a manslaughter, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
So 9mm blows out the lungs of some people. Only bad guys.
Yeah, Ryan, that's being dad and not buddy to your kids. Yes, and it is hard sometimes.
Yeah, it is hard, but the kids know, like, I'm not your friend.
Yeah, but it's hard
So
sometimes.
you have to understand that. Like, there's things you don't understand yet, and you'll tell me when you're 30, like,
Yeah.
Dad, thanks for not letting me do
Yeah,
that.
I get it. Yeah, you'll learn later. I get it.
Yeah.
No more wine for Tiffany. Uh-oh.
So how about reloading with prosecutors? Yeah, Jay, the truth is, like, if you have hollow points in your gun, they're going to try to tell the jury that hollow points are cop killers. And they purposely wanted to kill the person because they put bullets specifically designed to cause more trauma in the person to kill them. And they're going to say all of this, even though the real purpose of hollow points is to cause a large amount of trauma and not overpenetrate and hurt an innocent person. Because I don't care if I kill the bad guy trying to kill me. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. What I am worried about is accidentally hurting a kid that's somewhere near the bad guy and them getting hit by a stray bullet. Yeah. Right? So, but they're going to say all of that. They're going to take, again, I know I sound like a broken record here, every post you've put on the internet, every silly thing you've said on a gun group or whatever, right? Every little argument you get into on YouTube. They're going to take all that to try to paint your character of what kind of person you are and use that against you. So we got to be very cautious. And it's just really not worth it.
Oh, this one is sad.
Do we even want to watch that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Have to because...
Okay, so this is a little boy that just got shot accidentally.
Yeah,
and I'm going to use the air quotes here, accidentally, because this was not an accident.
Well, the firearm was secured, apparently.
It wasn't. It was in just a gun case.
And that's why we want to talk about it.
An 11-year-old boy shot and killed. Police say his own brother accidentally pulled the trigger. The shooting happened while the child was home alone with his 4 siblings.
And only on Local 10, we are now speaking with that child's heartbroken mother.
The gun was secured, and I always teach my kids about like gun violence, not to touch this gun, not to touch anything like that, because anything can happen. So I always secure my weapon. It was not pretty for him to get to touch.
She is a single mom of 6. She lost her 11-year-old son, Shamarian, in a tragic accident.
I'm looking at Shamarian's picture, and such a beautiful boy.
Yes, it smiles.
Miami-Dade police say 11-year-old Shamarian Burse was shot and killed in this northeast Miami-Dade apartment Thursday evening by his 13-year-old sibling. The gun, say cops, was taken from a firearms case in the master bedroom. No charges are expected to be filed, they say.
Sad story.
Very sad story.
I get that the mother is upset and no O-Town racer, no charges are going to be filed, which I think is bullshit, frankly. I get that her kid is dead. But I think her argument and her crying, I don't buy. And the reason, is because the gun was just sitting in a case. It was not locked up.
It was in her room in a case.
It was just in a case.
Listen.
And she keeps saying that my guns were locked up. But they weren't, because if it were locked up, your kid wouldn't have got it.
So this is okay. I disagree. I think that you know this mother is suffering. She's been working 16-hour days. She's got 4 kids. She's been the sole provider. Everything she does is to provide for these kids. I think what has happened is misinformation and being uneducated as to what is included in firearms securely encased. She thought...
Like what it means to secure a firearm.
Yes. She thought because her gun was in a case, you know, zippered up in her room, you know...
Hidden, probably.
Tucked away. She thought to her that was securely encased. Well, no, it's not, because it's not unavailable to any, you know, to others. So, and here's the thing. It's that... And it's also the fact that she had mentioned, I don't know if it was in this clip or another clip that I watched, that she, you know, had told them not to touch the firearm, that you don't touch the gun. So she put way too much...
emphasis on that?
Not emphasis, but she thought that telling her kids...
Was enough.
We tell our kids all the time. Our kids know how to handle firearms. Our kids know how to clear firearms, how to check, you know, safety check.
But they still make mistakes.
They still make mistakes. We would never trust them around, you know, unsecured firearm. And so I think there was 2 things. not understanding really what securely encased means, because to us, that means under lock and key. Like, you cannot get to it. It's some kind of code. It's some kind of, key. They cannot get to that firearm. And then number two, you cannot trust that your kid, I don't care how old they are, because even teenagers just do stupid things. There's peer pressure. There's them thinking that they know better. There's them thinking that they know firearm safety, so they can touch it. There's them having that pride of, well, I know what to do, so I can. And it's all those things that you cannot think that just by telling your kid to not touch a gun, that they won't touch a gun. They did that, like that undercover story where they had the kids in the room and they hid a gun in the room, and then they videotaped it, and all the parents were like, oh yeah, my kid, for sure my kid's not touching a gun. We've had this conversation a million times. I've told them, if you see a gun, you don't touch it. You run, you tell an adult, blah, 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 blah. My kid's not going to touch it. Every single one of those kids touched the gun.
Yeah.
Every single one of those kids. And one of them pointed it at another kid. One of them pulled the trigger at another kid's head. And that was the incidents in this, that the one brother shot the other brother, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that just went wrong, but you have to understand that you need to keep your firearm securely encased. To us means not just where it's in a case, okay? It has to be locked, and kids can't get to
locked
it.
up.
Super sad, though, because, a 7-year-old boy
Okay,
lost
where was
his
she when she was getting her version of securely encased?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. Which class did she take? Which people was she listening to? And maybe maybe she went to a class and they said, just make sure that your firearm is, in a case and lock, locked behind a bedroom door even. Some people think that that's enough. But to us, we know. How many times have you picked your bedroom door lock?
Who did I get in this little debate with the other day? It was a parent saying some stuff like that to me. And they were like, oh, I'm going to put the gun in the house. I said, oh, cool. Are you going to teach your kids about gun safety? And they were like, no, I'm not even going to tell them. I'm just going to keep it there and they'll never find it. And I said, do you honestly think
everything?
Do you honestly think there is anything in your house that your children don't know where it is?
No.
They know where everything is. When you're not in the room, they're going through everything. So this idea that you're going to somehow hide a gun from your children is very stupid to me. It's a very stupid idea. Instead, what I explained to her is, ma'am, do you have sharp drawers in your knife? And she goes, yeah.
Say that again. Do you have sharp drawers in your knife?
Do you have, okay, that's funny. I haven't been drinking
You're not even
either.
drinking any wine.
Do you have sharp knives in your kitchen? And she's like, yeah. And I said, what do you tell your kids about the sharp knives? And she goes, well, we tell them not to touch them. I said, oh, okay. So do you have like dangerous chemicals under your sink, like Fabuloso, which looks like juice and has like juice-looking stuff on the bottle? She goes, yeah. And I said, what do you tell your kids about it? Not to drink it. Okay, do you have like tools in your garage, like a blowtorch or like a chop saw or something? And she goes, yeah. I said, what do you tell your kids about those tools? Don't touch it. I said, why is a gun any different? Mm-hmm. Keep it secured and locked up and tell your kids this is a gun and you will die if you play with this, right? It's that simple.
Yeah. And you gotta stop with this. Kids aren't gonna find it, because I will tell you, if it's in your house, the kids are gonna find it.
Yeah, so like Ernie says, did anybody not find where their parents,
right?
hid
Jackson
presents
found
in the
neck
house?
massager.
Yeah, the neck massager. That is very awkward now. Yeah, so, I mean, that's a conversation. We'll be like, when we're drinking beers somewhere in Mexico and he's like 30 years old, I'll be like, hey, Jax, you remember that neck massager you were playing with that time? Do you know what that is? And he'd be like, no. I'll be like, okay, well, here it is, buddy. You're going to want to take a shower after this conversation.
Anyway.
Okay, I think that's about it. We'll answer this last question just because it's super fast. But Mickey says, can I order ammunition online and have it shipped directly to my house? Yes, in the state of Florida, very easy to do. Just buy it online and have it shipped straight to your door.
No, do you think there's any like ramifications to that? Do you think there's anything bad about buying ammo online and having it?
Like
there's
people
some
seeing
people.
it?
Well, some people get worried about it, like, oh, I'm going to be on some kind of list. Just answer that quickly.
Listen, the bottom line is you're already on a list. Like, just the fact that you guys are all on this live stream, which is being run on YouTube.
Don't scare them into watching our live stream.
No, it is, right? But you're on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm knows that you're interested in gun-related stuff.
Yeah.
And you're already on that list, right?
If you ever look up a holster, If you ever look up a gun law, if you ever look up anything on Google, they've already got you pinged.
Yeah, they know more about you. I think I was reading this article. Eric could probably tell us because he knows more about this than I do. But Facebook has like 70,000 data points on each of its users. Google probably has more than 70,000 on each people that use Google. Mm-hmm. So like they know more about us literally than we know about ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they already know. There's not much you're hiding from anybody.
Yeah, like you can try to, circumvent it as much, but the bottom line is we all look up something, even if we're trying to hide it, we all look at something that would steer you in the way of you're this type of person, which puts you in this pool of, people. So
okay, so Husky Plunker says, do we have reciprocity with Georgia? Yes. With the Florida concealed carry permit, you can carry in Georgia. Just make sure you're following Georgia's laws while you're there.
Yeah, I just finished my wine.
Bill Emmerich says, thoughts on the pistol brace ruling coming up? I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of guns that I have to make decisions on if that is going to go through or whatever. I just think it's such bullshit because, like, all they're trying to do is cause confusion, right? Cause confusion, make things difficult. We all know, right? Statistics tell us that an AR-15 with a pistol brace is not the problem in society. You want to know what the problem in society is, Tiff? You're never going to believe this.
Okay, what is this, Ryan?
People are committing crimes and they are not getting punished.
No.
That's the problem.
Or they're committing crimes and then they're being glorified and they're being put on this.
Because you're a victim of whatever new victimhood is happening that week or month, right? Yeah. So that's the problem. But nobody actually wants to talk about that. It's kind of like I had an interesting conversation with a young lady the other day about human trafficking, and she works for a human trafficking organization here in Tampa. And she said something to me, and she said, do you realize that the government only spends like a very small, I don't remember the number, but it was a very small amount of money trying to stop human trafficking in America? And I said, the reason that they don't spend money on it is because they are not interested in stopping human trafficking. And this is, you can think I'm a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but if the U.S. government wanted to stop or significantly reduce human trafficking, we could. If the government really wanted to stop like drugs and all this stuff in America, we could do it. If they really wanted to stop people flooding into our borders, illegal immigrants coming in, we could stop it. But the problem is they don't actually want to stop it. They want to say that they want to do it, but they're not actually interested in doing it. So that's kind of this whole thing with gun violence and mass shootings and all this stuff. They say we want to stop it, but you don't want to stop it.
Yeah, because they're creating stupid laws that are
because you're doing
absolutely nothing. If you wanted to stop it, you would actually maybe work with some gun people that would actually tell you, hey, these are some things that you could actually do that maybe would make a difference and wouldn't infringe on the rights of other.
Yeah, they want to exploit and use guns as the thing to distract people from the fact that they are spending money like it's going out of style. Like our goal is to just spend money as fast as possible. They want to distract people with this instead of stopping drugs, violence, political, what is it called? Like, stealing elections and all this stuff. To keep people distracted from that, from voter fraud and all that, let's talk about guns and gun violence, which they are not interested in fixing. So anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it, folks. What is it? That's it, folks. What is the Looney Tunes thing?
All right, guys, we are getting ready for Christmas here, coming up soon. If you guys, go ahead, do your pitch. If you guys are looking for an amazing Christmas gift
we do have some really good Christmas gift certificates available, and what's cool about it is you can pick, the picture that you want, Christmas, special gift, thank you, birthday, whatever it is. You can choose your picture. You can put a special note. You can print it off and put it in a card, or you can email it right away if it's their birthday or something like that, or you can schedule delivery Christmas morning, December 25th, 8 a.m. We're going to send you this gift certificate. And then if you order from now until I believe it's December 15th, we're going to send you a free gift, which is a really, really sweet gift. And I'm not going to tell you what it is until you go to gifts@tampacarry.com. And with this sweet gift, you can either give it to someone or you can keep it for yourself. But it makes a perfect stocking stuffer for just about anybody. And we are going to give you that gift 100% free with free shipping.
So you can keep it and give the rest to the other person.
Yeah, just for purchasing a gift card at tampacarry.com. So just go to gift.tampacarry.com, click that button, and you'll see all the available options. But it's a great gift to give. Like, we have a lot of people that will give it to coworkers or to neighbors or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just something, good. So anyway, go check it out. And that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. And make sure to like this video, and we will see you next Monday night.
Peace.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.